This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, hello everyone. Good morning once again. Uh, we have discussed other types of testing yesterday. We have discussed about a lot of other types. Most of them are, all of them are functional testing types only, which we have discussed. Any questions from previous class? No.
No, sir.
Okay. So there are few other things as well which we need to discuss. We will discuss one after another. That is ad hoc testing. Ad hoc testing. What do you mean by ad hoc? What is ad hoc? If you are if you are defining any sequence for something, okay, if you have visited any hospital, they have given token number, okay, but how, in which sequence, that's the procedure they will call, right? One after another days, as per the token number, you need to meet the doctor. That's what the procedure they mention. But instead of following that, they are calling randomly some people. Okay, randomly some people. What does it mean? Without following the procedure, they are doing whatever they want. So that is what here also ad hoc means, without following the procedure. Ad hoc is a random thing. Randomly you are doing some actions in the application and checking how application is responding. Okay, so ad hoc testing is a kind of random testing, which is, it is a random testing where tester performs ad hoc actions or random actions on the application without following proper procedure. Okay, so that is what ad hoc testing is. So what is the purpose of this one? The major reason for doing this ad hoc testing, in the principles of testing, I was telling absence of error policy or defects policy, one last principle we discussed, right? What I mentioned there, if you are done with your formal test execution and you are done with your all scenarios what you identified, and you have enough time to do the release, instead of closing your testing early, you can do a kind of random testing. I said you can randomly test the application. I said, what does it mean? You can perform whatever you want actions, like if process steps are mentioned in the process for a requirement, it is like go click on this button and then fill the form and then click on save button, and it will show a confirmation message, click on continue button, like that. Different procedure is mentioned in the requirement. Without following that require procedure, are doing reverse to that procedure, are doing differently from that procedure, test the application how it is behaving. Okay, so that's what you will be doing in the ad hoc testing. Okay, it's a random testing where tester perform random actions on the application without following any proper procedure, okay, defined in the requirements. Or for this, when I say random actions, ad hoc testing, the major purpose why we are doing is, purpose is, the main purpose of doing this ad hoc testing is to break the system. Okay, if at all, if I am doing this irregular actions or improper steps, if I am performing on the application, whether it is hanging or not, or it is doing any unexpected errors it is producing, or it is crashing, these kind of different aspects you will check in this kind of when you are doing ad hoc testing. Okay, so when I say there are no proper steps you follow, what is not required for ad hoc testing? To perform this ad hoc testing, something is not required because you are not going to follow any proper defined procedure to have those things. What are those things? Anyone? Requirement. Okay, requirement must be there because you will be testing those functionalities only against the requirement, right? Sometimes a requirement has defined some procedure, against that procedure you will be testing sometimes. And also random actions like moving, navigating to different modules and performing random actions in all the modules, that is different thing. And also sometimes against the procedure, if the procedure is telling it should allow maximum such criteria should be
Test case.
in the build. Yes, exactly. Who's that? Sahu?
Saurabh.
Saurabh. Okay, it's a test case. Okay, we don't need any test cases for doing ad hoc testing because we don't follow any procedure. What is test cases will be having? Test cases will have steps. The steps which will perform one after another to validate a specific scenario. What are the actions you need to perform? That will be mentioned in the test case. But I am not doing any specific scenario here to follow steps or actions one after another. So I'm going to do randomly whatever I get in my mind at that point in time. Okay, that's a ad hoc testing. So it is not, some people may track those ad hoc action also as part of test cases. That's why I'm not telling ad hoc testing should not have test cases. I'm telling ad hoc testing may not require test cases. Ad hoc testing may not require test cases because we are not following any procedure. So for that reason, you need not to have any test cases. What are the types in this ad hoc testing? How can you do in this ad hoc testing? Either you can alone do that, or sometimes what they do, some types are there: pair testing, buddy testing, and monkey testing. Okay, there are some other things as well. People will be telling guerrilla testing. uh, there are many things. Okay, but these are the things which we have as part of ad hoc testing. Pair testing, what do you mean by pair? Pair means two two people are going to do together ad hoc testing. Who are those two people? Excuse me. Who are those two people? Testers. Two testers together. Two testers together perform the ad hoc testing by sharing their thoughts. Okay, we'll test in this way, we'll test in that way, like that. They share, exchange their thoughts and then do the ad hoc testing. Okay, this is one way of doing ad hoc testing. Instead of doing a single tester alone, they may ask them to pair up and do randomly some testing on the application. Another way, sometimes they may ask you to pair up with one tester and with one tester and one developer together perform ad hoc testing by sharing their thoughts. Why they are including developers in this case? Developer he's the one who wrote the code, and he's the one who wrote defined different conditions in the code, right? As per the requirement, he can suggest us, can you do something like this, which will be against my code what I have done, how it is responding, we will see. Like that, he also may help you in giving such cases while doing this ad hoc testing. So this is another way of doing ad hoc testing. Buddy testing. Okay, so monkey testing, you alone, it's not like two people, three people, or it can be followed in the pair testing, or it can be followed in the buddy testing, or if you are alone doing random testing. This is, it's similar definition whatever I mentioned here. So performing the random actions without following any proper steps. Okay, performing testing the application features without following the defined steps. Okay, this is similar to ad hoc definition only, but it is not required to have one people or two people or three people. It can be in any of this ad hoc testing type. You can follow this one. That's what the definition as well. So you can, without following the steps, how monkey behaves, right? It will not go, it will not follow any, if anyone is training also, it will not follow that, right? It will do some, why are you behaving like monkey, we will tell, right? The same way you need to do that behavior, you need to do such random actions in the application without following the steps. Okay, any question on this ad hoc testing?
Sir, pair testing means, hello sir,
Yes, Ramesh.
pair testing means two testing together or two testers, sir, it is?
Two testers.
Okay. Two testers together perform ad hoc testing by sharing their thoughts. So individually they can
Yes.
share their thoughts and they can test. That's called a pair testing, no sir?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir,
Yes,
uh,
Payas.
there is no test case in case of ad hoc testing.
No,
So,
that's what I mentioned.
uh, what basis we test ad hoc testing means without test cases, what tests, sir?
That's what I am telling. You are done with your first. You will write test cases for requirement validation, right? Once you are done with those executions, and once you are you are not having any additional scenarios to validate the functionalities, then you do this ad hoc testing, because you still have some time to release the product. For that, you are not going to focus on one feature or two features or specific requirement. You will be randomly moving around the application. You will be randomly performing actions. That's why we don't need test cases, I mentioned. It's not about one specific requirement I'm talking here. Okay,
Randomly.
randomly you will be doing.
Sir, I have a small doubt.
See, yes, Ramya.
Sir, practically it work body testing, sir.
Yes, sometimes if the developer is available, you can exchange, you can ask his suggestions also when they are doing, but mostly, like pair testing also will not happen. Even buddy testing also will not happen. It will be one tester only will be doing this, like monkey testing.
Yes, sir. Usually what happened is the after the developer enter send into the QA environment, we have to done the testing, right, sir?
Yes, it's After
But
everything, all the testing is after releasing it to the QA environment only.
but how it is possible together for one tester and one developer can perform?
In your project, developer and testers will be there, no, sitting it with
Yes, sir.
together. So that's what what is the problem in sitting with developer? He will be there with you only in the project.
Okay.
But sometimes pair testing may happen, very rarely, because when you join newly to the project, okay, you are not fully aware of all the features of the application. If at all you need to do some testing, so what your test lead will tell, you can do pair testing with so and so person, so that you will get idea of the application. Then once you get confidence, then you can contribute individually like that. They may ask them to pair up with someone. Okay, so or very complex functionality, they don't use this in this point of view, randomly do something. They will use this word for doing the proper integration testing only, proper functional testing only. They will use this word if at all any very complex requirement you are testing, and there are n number of test cases, but it should be tested very quickly. Then what they do, they share their those test cases among two people and they test together. In that way also they call pair testing, but that is not the purpose what it is mentioned in the ad-hoc testing. Okay, ad-hoc testing is random check which you are not going to follow any procedure or steps. Okay, but this wording pair testing will be used in real time by your test lead or test manager sometimes when you need to pair up with another tester to complete the work. Okay, any questions?
Sir, the purpose of ad hoc testing break the system. Can you explain one more time?
See, if I am now, I what I am doing, observe it. I'm doing here, I'm going here, and I'm clicking on insert table, and again I'm coming here, and before even doing that action, I am doing something different randomly. Okay, this much quickly I'm navigating. Is it throwing any error or is it hanging
No, sir.
or is it not responding? It's responding. It's not hanging. Okay, so this kind of random actions you will be doing. Okay,
Okay, sir.
if at all, to break the system, why I'm telling, if at all in these kind of cases random actions if you do, application is hanging, it is taking some time to respond, then it is a issue. That's what I mean by breaking the system. Application is not responding at all in this kind of when I do random actions, or if it is, it's throwing some unexpected exception, some weird error message it is showing when I am doing this kind of random actions. That is also kind of wrong thing which is coming out of the system. Okay, so that's what I mean break the system. It's not like breaking means what you will be uh, producing unexpected issues, anything. It is how very weirdly if it is responding, application is behaving, those things are nothing but you break the system, right? You breaking means not you breaking, that is the default defect in the code that you are identifying by doing this kind of random shit. Understand?
Okay, so just to confirm, we do ad hoc testing in two scenarios. Like one, when we done with all the test cases and we have some time, in that case we do ad hoc
Yes.
testing. And the another scenario is we don't have sufficient time. Uh, in that case,
No, sufficient time is not the
hello.
right scenario.
Okay. So only we have the additional time, then
Sufficient
only
time
we do
won't.
ad hoc.
Yes, yeah, then only you do this.
Okay. Okay.
Or when every time when you are done with your functional test case execution, simply for 5 minutes or 10 minutes you may do this ad-hoc test.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, but it's not used for when there is no sufficient time we go for ad-hoc testing. No, it's not like that. In that case you will go for risk-based testing
Okay.
when there
Okay.
is no sufficient time to do full validation.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes. Thank you.
No, they are asking they are explaining ad-hoc testing may be used in two situations. One is when I am done with that. That's what they are also trying to explain again. Recap that. Okay. One is once I'm done with my formal test case execution, when I have sufficient time, then I will go for random testing. Another thing which is not correct, that is when there is no sufficient time for doing full length testing for the requirement, then I will go for adapt. That is not correct. That's what I was saying. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. I mentioned all these things are kind of functional testings only, right? Where you are validating the functionality of the application. But there are some non-functional testing types as well, which are not categorized in that classification, whichever we saw: performance testing, security testing, usability testing, and portability testing, right? So here we did not see scalability testing. Anyone, what is this scalability means? If at all any system is configured with this a certain setup, okay, so now you have configured to your system, you have designed it in some technology, and also you have configured database to some extent, but based on the growing needs you may need to upgrade your system to, you need to increase the size of the database which is configured to your application, and also sometimes you may require to upgrade the, simply change the technology which is some places you may need to change the uh, Angular. If you know the development aspects, the Angular JS is one of the technology which will be used in the development, we are facing in our project. I'm giving the example. Angular JS, it will be version will be keep on changing, okay, which will there where they will be getting a lot of features every new version. So if the tech team feels, if the technical architect feels the, now we are using Angular 10, Angular 12 or Angular 17 or whatever, I'm giving random number, whatever version is very good, if it is very good, it's better to migrate to that to Angular version, like that they are thinking. So when they want to migrate or upgrade the system, whether the current way of development, whatever we have done, is scalable or not, it can be upgraded to the latest technologies or not. It is how much scalable it is. It will be measured. Okay, so it's not your job as a tester, it's a whole team will be doing this scalable. Once what your job is, once they upgrade it technically, technical team, once they do that upgradation, whether it is working in the similar way or not, you need to validate. So that's validation of the functionalities will be done as part of regression testing. But here scalability testing is to whether the system can be upgraded to the latest uh, technologies or the resources database component or any resources can be upgraded to higher versions or not, it's supporting or not, you will be measuring in the scalability testing to meet the growing needs. They need to upgrade, right? Understood this one? uh, Checking whether the application, it's a non-functional testing first of all. Okay, it's not a functional thing. Checking whether the application can be upgraded to latest technologies or the resources, configured resources can be upgraded or not, will be validated the checking whether the application or not is called scalability testing. Excuse me. So even in the database point of view also, I can say here example, database you have, it's coming to bottleneck, it is filling, its database is full. What happens if data is full, database is full? If database is having less memory, what happens? Whatever configured database is having less memory, what happens?
The
We
system will
discussed
become slow. System will
slow. Yes,
become slow.
system performance will go down. Performance will go down. Yes. Okay. So system will go slow. Performance will become slow. So in that case, so they had to upgrade the database size as well. If they don't take backup of the some systems, what they do for that reason, the latest way, big applications like Gmail or Facebook or these kind of big applications, what they do, they maintain the database. They will be cleaning the database. Why they are cleaning? They are not going to excuse me, keep the historical information in the current database. They they take the backup and move it to the another database. Whenever customer explicitly request, then only that data, it will be interacting with that database and fetching the data. But in the current system, it will be having very recent information only. For that, I can even give one best example. Have you ever tried in our banking websites, when you want to see the transaction statement, you can see immediately for first 20 days or 30 days or 1 month, up to 1 month you can see immediately. More than 1 month, if you want to see last year's transactions, what you have done, what you need to do, you need to do a separate procedure. Then they will tell, we will send it to your mail ID. Please send a request. We will send it to your mail, the requested bank statement for the period. We will send to your mail, like that they say. Why? Because it's not currently available in the current database. Understand? So this is how when the database is becoming full, it may performance may go slow. They may need to, in the scalability point of view, application can be upgraded to the latest technology or something. Now you are configured the Oracle database to your application. All of sudden, project management or client or your management decided to, we remove this Oracle, we will go for Microsoft SQL Server. you change the software, whether it can be upgraded to that new software it is or not, you'll be checking. You need to, they need to, technical team need to check. So it's scalable to the different new technologies or not. You'll be validating whether the application can be, you should not be doing new development again, right? If it is not working, if it is not compatible or with the new another database, what you need to do, you need to again develop, or you need to put lot of effort to integrate it. So whenever you are developing, customers expectation will be, whenever you are developing any application, it should be scalable to meet my growing needs. So okay, graded or not to meet the growing needs of the business. Okay, any questions on this scalability? It's a non-functional testing which you will not be doing mostly. Okay, it's a very rare thing will happen. You will not be doing this that frequently in your day-to-day testing activities. Any questions before moving on to the next one? Okay, endurance testing, or it is also called as soak testing. What does it mean? When I was telling, when I was explaining performance testing, I talked about load. Okay, in various conditions you will be measuring the performance of the application. This is also a non-functional testing only, where you will be checking here the performance of the application only, how the application is behaving. But in load testing or in volume testing, I mentioned when huge amount of data is getting transferred, how application is performing. When a more number of resources are accessing the application, how the application is performing. All those things we discussed, right? But it will be this testing performance, this testing expectation is how long it can sustain with that load, or with that that many users, how long it can sustain. Keeping the heavy load on the application for longer duration and check how long the application can sustain with that much amount of load will be tested in the endurance testing. Okay, so checking the sustainability of the application by keeping certain amount of load on the location, on the application for specific for longer durations. Okay, is this clear, all of you? Like this, there are many other non-functional testing as well. You will be having benchmark testing. What is that benchmark? Benchmark testing. Like this, there are many testings will be there, you will be seeing, but which you will not be using that not that regularly, not very rarely you will be listening these things in real time. But in your normal projects, software development or any application if you are developing, will not see these things that frequently. Okay, so benchmark testing, benchmark means, anyone guess by this term, benchmark testing?
There will be a certain limit or a benchmark with like so some limit or
Keeping the
there will be,
reference.
yes.
So keeping benchmark is nothing but keeping some reference. You will be having some reference. Okay, if I do with this much of load, it means the speed of the application must be this much. If I am keeping this much, transferring this much amount of data, the performance of the application must be this much speed. Like that, keeping the benchmark, and you are, yeah, it's two different applications you cannot hear. I will explain anyhow. You'll be keeping some benchmarks and reference, and then you will be checking according to that. You will already preset your requirement. I need this much of speed when I'm doing this much, keeping the benchmark and then checking the application performance. Okay, benchmark testing. So validating the application behavior by keeping certain benchmarks from the existing benchmark from the existing references is benchmark testing. Okay, like this many are there. I'm not going to explain everything. I will share the notes with you people. Please go through that. It will be having many other types of testings as well. I can show you fuzz testing or different types of testings will be there. All those things you please go through, and then let me know if you have any questions on those things which are not required. But what I explained previously, those things must be remembered, and you need to practice all those things. Smoke, sanity, ad hoc. So baseline testing, this is one thing I would like to, which you are doing in the beginning. I will write it here. This is also non-functional testing only. Okay, I'll write here only. Baseline testing. What is this baseline? This is a very in the beginning stage of the project will be, this is a testing, non-functional testing which will be done in the beginning stage of the application development, application implementation. What is this purpose? The main purpose of this testing is to make sure all the required setup is there, a baseline, all the requirements or all the required documentation are baselined or not, means setup is ready or not, means UI UX designs are given or not, or requirement is finalized or not, or all the as per the standards they have prepared the documents or not, walkthrough session is completed or not, this kind of explanation, all the proper setup which is required to start with your development and testing activities, those things are baselined or not, you will be checking in the baseline testing. The main purpose of this testing is to make sure all the required documentation has been done or setup has been done as per the defined process as or not will be validating. So it's this is you are already doing this one, but you don't call it as I'm doing baseline testing. Okay, so but you will be, it is a regular thing, but some expert has added one word and added testing at the end. It has become one type of testing. Like that, you will find many types of testing in these notes. Endurance testing, compliance testing. Compliance is also what? Compliance also is about whether it is meeting all the means, if it is again kind of, it is a compatibility testing only. You will be checking in different uh, working conditions whether the application is behaving in similar way or not. You will be checking in the compliance testing. So like this, there are many other things. Okay, please go through. Volume testing we have seen already. Yeah, this one I wanted to explain. Localization testing and internationalization testing or globalization testing. What is this one? Anyone, by seeing these words, can you tell what is localization, what is internationalization or globalization testing? What is internationalization? Application
Uh,
is
Acceptable for global
globalized or
market.
not? In what terms? Acceptable for global markets, Sahu is telling. In what terms?
Mm, as in everything,
Application is
like
one only, right?
uh,
It will not be developed differently for different countries, right? It will be same application only.
yeah, but for maybe it is a language, like it is translated to the
Yes,
particular.
that's the thing. Yes, Sahu, it's not any other thing. It's language only. Okay, only language.
Okay.
So it's not other things. Language is the one which we are talking here in this testing. Whether globalization is, whether the application can be accessed in different global languages or international languages or not. Okay, what is this? This is also functional, non-functional testing only. Okay, these are non-functional testing activities. You are not validating the functionality is working or not, but whether I'm able to use the application in my own language or not, global languages or not. What are those global languages? It can be French, it can be Dutch
English.
or English anyhow, but that is the basic way you will be developing the application in English. But other countries now, French, Chinese people mostly not knowing the English. Okay, especially French people, they don't know English. Okay, most of the people they don't know the English. So Chinese and any other countries, if you are targeting Spanish, all these languages are supported or not, you will be, it's not like every application should support all these languages. It's depending on the business need. Customer is telling my organization is there in France, China and Spain as well. It should work. It should, they are not good at English, so please globalize the application to support all these languages. If they mention, then we need to do the translations. We need to, our development team need to implement translation thing. As soon as you select the language differently, even the this MS Office also will have different versions. If French people are using this MS Office, you don't find this insert all these things. It will be written in French language. So like that, application must be translated depending on the language selected by the user during the installation.
Hello,
If
sir.
it is a desktop application. Yes,
Hello, sir.
Ramesh.
Sir, sir, it is a different national languages, no, sir, or international language, sir, it is.
It's international languages only, no global languages.
Sir, but international language means
Different
it's only
countries.
it is a national languages means French, Chinese. So it is a particular to that country, no, sir. Actually, it may be according to my point of view, it is a national language, sir. Because international means
Then
only
what
English is
is
there.
okay? What is local language for our India?
Sir, local language means is Hindi.
So we
Local
have a lot
language
of
is
local
Hindi.
languages in it. So we have a lot of local
Hindi.
languages because we have
Local
Odia.
language is all languages. Yes, Odia, Hindi, Konkani,
Telugu.
Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, all are local languages. Okay, so that I'm not talking about local languages. So now our Hindi also is a kind of global language for our India. Okay, if at all anyone wants to, if you want to go and live in French, why people are learning French and Spanish from India? Because if you go there and if you want to settle, you need to know this one, because everyone will not be speaking English there. Though they look very professional, they will be, even like I can give an example. They write the code also in French, coding language. If you take any .NET or C sharp, that code also they write in French. So then it's a global language. For why I'm telling global language, for that country it is the official language. But why we are telling global language? Globalization means I'm not telling international language. It's not international languages. Internet, I can say different countries languages. Countries global languages. If you say this French is specific to the France country, okay, that doesn't mean like internationally everyone should speak French, everyone should speak Chinese. It's not, that is not the meaning. Okay, these are all throughout the globe, different countries related languages, which is global language. In our India's point of view, if you take, it is our language is Hindi. But it's not like if any other country is targeting our India, they don't go for Hindi. Why? If the business is targeting India, they don't go for Hindi because Indians are good at English. Okay, most of the people will be knowing English, and they don't need any globalization of for the application. Okay, but other countries, some specific countries where they don't know English, then the application now, if at all application is your main business is there in France only, there is no other choice than building the application in French. Okay, is that clear to you, Fayaz or Ramesh,
Yes, sir.
what
Yes,
you
sir.
said?
Yes, sir.
So how does it work
Okay,
in the background? As in, if client is having a requirement like they want their website or application in multiple languages. Okay. So client is
yeah,
going to provide the translations for the other things.
translations, yeah, even our we will be using sometimes translators. So question
Okay.
from who's Sahu? Oh, no,
Yeah, yeah,
who is
sorry.
that?
Saurabh.
Okay, so it's asked, question is it is how it can be translated. Will client provide all these languages related translations? No, we mostly use Google translators, or sometimes we will use, sometimes we may take our respective businesses will be there. No, when you are deploying the
Mhm.
application to this country, there will be specific person. He will be providing the translations for every word.
Yeah,
Okay.
because yes, that's why I asked this question because if you are using this Google Translator, then it is not authentic translation, right? I'm sure.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
So, but
I
you know,
understand
like
that.
if it is not correct, yes, as an English guy here, as a you are developing here in India, what we know, if at all it is given, we will try and provide the translation. Otherwise, I will go with the Google Translator. I will put that specific word in Google, whatever translation it has given. I'll provide that. If it is not correct, then they will come back and tell us, can you please use this word in French? Okay.
Mhm.
Then we will
Okay,
put
okay,
those translated word. Okay.
okay, got it. Yeah.
Localization. What is localization? As I just explained, yes, Sumant, it will not be audible. That's why I'm repeating the question asked by other batch people. Okay.
Sir, the application will be tested with by using local languages. Like in our India, we are having different states. So according to their state
Yes.
languages, the application will be tested, sir.
Yeah. So checking whether
Localized, I guess
the
it is in some.
yes, go on.
Yeah, I think it is in terms of everything.
Whether
Like
the
we follow the different number system. Some other countries following other number system. Or
application. Can you repeat, Saurabh?
see, like in India, we follow it is like kg, grams, and like that. But in US, there is some different system, right? LBS and all. So
Uh,
it,
no.
and
It's not
tens is
about measurements.
yeah.
No, it's not about measurements, guys. Saurabh is telling it's like kgs or grams or even in the rupees kind of rupees in our country, in another country it can be dollar. This kind of not about measurements or anything, centimeters or meters, these kind of things. It's about language only. If at all those things need to be changed, that anyhow we need to convert as part of globalization only. If in different country it is changing, it will be done as part of globalization, not as part of localization. Okay. So localization is about, as Ramesh mentioned, it is about local regional languages of a country. Okay. Checking whether the application is supporting different regional languages of a country within our country. I'm talking. It's not about if at all your business is focused in India, then the application is must support. If you are targeting rural areas also, then your application must support local languages. If you see now, Facebook application is supporting local languages as well. You can use the Facebook application in different local languages as well. Whatever, not for all languages, local languages in India, but some popular languages they are supporting. So like that, every application, depending on their business needs, where they are actually targeting their business, how the literacy there, and if they want to focus on you just give English, if everyone is educated, and who everyone knows English, then they go with only English. Or if they want it to cover reach the rural areas and also different regional people who are not educated much, but they are targeting those people also. In that case, they have to support local languages. And also, if it is from across the globe, you are targeting different countries, and their countries languages also you need to support. That business will tell us. We don't decide on. If at all vendor is developing the application, all the requirements, we focus on the requirements only. We don't decide we will support French as well. It's not our it's extra work we are going to do if at all you are doing that. So we don't need to focus on that until unless customer asks explicitly, my application must support different translations. Then he will give which languages, then we will provide translations for those languages. Okay, any questions on this? Okay, all these are these notes I will share. There are many other things will be there which are not that important for us. So you please go through this document and let me know if you have any question from that. Any questions from today's class?
No, sir.
Others? No?
No, sir.
Okay,
No.
then that's it for today.